Hi, my name is Hogan and today I'm going to be talking about gambling, America's favorite pastime. Now, I know when I say this, that might sound a little sarcastic because you might be thinking, hey, America's favorite pastime, that's baseball, or that's football, maybe even basketball for you. But honestly, gambling has been root deep in the roots of America since games even existed. My specific purpose with this speech is to educate and persuade audiences to advocate for the legalization of gambling nationwide. With this legalization, I think the country would benefit more, not just from it being an extra source of revenue as an extra tax source. Since the beginning of modern games, like I said, people have been gambling. It has been all of it, until it became totally outlawed. But now it is slowly making its way back to the country to being completely legal. The first gambling permits were allowed in Las Vegas, Nevada in April 1931. Classically, everybody thinks of Vegas as probably one of the gambling capitals in the entire world. The following states that do not have gambling in casino style gambling in casinos today are Georgia, Hawaii, Kentucky, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Utah, Vermont, and Virginia. These 8 states have no gambling whatsoever. It is completely illegal in these states, and they have also no physical places to gamble. Like, there are no casinos, there's no online gambling places and gas stations. Doesn't exist. It is not allowed. I think because this decision is up to states' rights, these changes could be theoretically made if it was up to the government instead of states' rights. I've done additional research on this topic through the use of scholarly sources, and today I will help you understand why casino-style gambling should be nationwide. But first, let me explain why it is currently illegal in these states. Since Prohibition, gambling became completely outlawed. Okay, nowhere in the United States could you gamble, just as you were not allowed to drink alcohol or partake in certain drugs. That all changed, like I said, with that one permit in Nevada. The first 2 states to allow gambling legalization were Nevada and Louisiana. There are some small loopholes within certain geographical areas within the United States, just like it being on a coastline or being in a peninsula somewhere or in an indent of state. There are certain loopholes they use to get around to where these states might have casinos that are technically not allowed. However, though, it is virtually illegal everywhere else in these states. The only way to get around this is online casino gambling. However, online casino gambling is still technically illegal in these states, and you must use things like a VPN. A VPN allows you to get on to a network or run your IP through another network in a completely different country or a different state that would be legal in that country. So, like, it would mask your computer essentially and turn you into a computer in, if you were in Georgia, it could turn you into a computer in New York. It doesn't matter. But people use this VPN, which is technically not illegal, but does make it illegal when you use it through these gambling sites, because you are technically hacking the system and allowing yourself to gamble in a completely illegal state. Because if you live in the state, it is technically illegal for you to gain revenue through gambling. Like I said, with the VPN, a lot of people are running to online casinos. There's essentially no taxes because people run it through things like crypto, Bitcoin, just off their credit cards. They can do that. Technically dangerous, but people do it and they make money off of it, and it's completely illegal. Because there's not really any tax on it, there's no real incentive to even try to go to a physical casino, because if you can do it all online and it's completely free, but they'll take a little Bitcoin fee, which is very small, people would just rather see that as the way to do it and make money, and it not even touch anywhere in the government at all. And I think this opportunity for government regulation is literally right in front of us. I think if they decided it wouldn't become up to states' rights and it was one complete issue, then there would just be hundreds of millions of dollars which we could use that would benefit us. In fact, in 2019, the gambling revenue accounts for 30% of the legal states, was literally 1% of all the government's revenue. And so, like, it wasn't technically involved, but it accounted for the same amount as the government revenue, which was $33 billion, and that was 1%. So if we had that completely legal in all these states, completely legal gambling, physical locations, casinos where people could go to with no, they weren't looked upon differently because it was illegal or anything like that, and they didn't have to hide it. The opportunity is right in front of us to collect more money for schools and education and for construction. Like, it's literally right in front of us, and I don't understand why we aren't taking this seriously. This has happened with sports betting. The Professional and Amateur Protection Act actually overturned sports betting throughout the United States, and that is now legal. Places like FanDuel and DraftKings, huge sites I'm sure people have heard of. And that revenue actually hit a high in 2020. It was $4.29 billion in that 1 year for sports betting, which was 2 years after it was completely legal again online. In conclusion, I believe gambling has had a long represented history of being evil, or ways of people to fall into addiction. And I think if it was discussed better and treated properly and it wasn't illegal, people would maybe look to it for a way to spend their extra cash in order to gain some more revenue. And in turn, this revenue would go towards taxes, and it would genuinely help the country more. And I fully believe that, and that is why I think gambling should be completely legal throughout the United States.